Adventure games are a pretty broad genre, but if a game has you exploring a world, then it's in this video, and I needed another excuse to make a video about free Steam games. Here are the top 5 free adventure games on Steam you don't know about. Part 2. The Savior from Above is a side-scrolling adventure game set on a distant planet that combines multiple genres of gameplay. After crash landing onto this desolate planet, you set off on a journey to escape, only to discover there's a lot more to this planet than you initially thought. You'll solve puzzles and interact with things in the environment to create a path forward. You're always doing something new or in a new area, which keeps the game fresh. There's no UI, which really enhances the atmosphere along with the dystopian soundtrack. As you play, you'll uncover the dark mysteries of the planet, but never to the point of satisfaction, because the story has no words, leaving it open to interpretation. This keeps you thinking as you hope your questions will be answered in the end. If you're looking for a gorgeous atmospheric adventure game with a variety of gameplay mechanics, then I recommend The Savior from Above. Dreamwatcher is a 3D Metroidvania puzzle platformer full of secrets and abilities. You play as the agent, who's tasked with restoring the Great Library of Dreams. You do this by completing puzzles with various abilities you unlock. At the end of each chapter, you unlock a new ability, like being able to kick platforms forward or climb up walls. The puzzles mainly consist of platforms. You'll have to move platforms around, time the movement of platforms, and hit switches to activate a platform's movement. There's combat as well, although it's very basic and easy. Okay. Movement in general is clunky and sluggish, but luckily the platforming isn't very hard. During combat, you just press the attack button and move around to dodge the very obvious attacks. The monkey enemies are mainly used to interact with the environment, like these ice monkeys that can freeze cloud platforms so you're able to stand on them, whereas the spider enemies are just there to hurt you. There's collectibles scattered around levels, which you can then spend on upgrades like extra life. The game has excellent pacing as each ability layers into the puzzle solving and exploration. If you're looking for a puzzle platformer Metroidvania, then I recommend Dreamwatcher. Awkward Dimensions Redux is an experimental genre-hopping game about dreams interspersed with the game developer's story. Every level is set in a new dimension, as once you figure out how to progress, you're transported to a completely new area. The only thing grounding the game is its first-person perspective. Each level not only looks different, but plays different too, with stealth levels, platforming levels, and puzzle levels, for example. It may look like it's totally random, and that's definitely what I thought going into it, but it's actually much more subdued than you'd expect. There's elements of the game developer's life mixed into the gameplay that I really related to. There's surprisingly emotional moments that are enhanced because of the gameplay and environment you're in. I came for the visuals, stayed for the gameplay, and left with an engaging story that I wasn't expecting to find. If you're looking for an abstract game with tons of different environments, then I recommend Awkward Dimensions Redux. Kari is an adventure exploration game set in a mythological Norse world where you seek out help from the gods. You play as Kari, a girl who gets shipwrecked on an island and is looking for a way home. Because she got transported to this other realm, her soul is always depleting.
Oh no!
This is essentially your life bar, and in order to refill it, you have to interact with statues. I found this mechanic to be pretty unnecessary since you always have to keep an eye on how much time you have left, which hinders exploration. The rest of the game is very chill though, as it's all about talking to villagers for information and doing quests. In order to reach a new area, you'll have to find items scattered around the forest. All of the quests and blockades turn the game into explorative fetch quests where you're looking for the right items while making the best use of your limited inventory space. The art style and soundtrack carry the game in terms of making the atmosphere a joy to explore. If you're looking for an explorative game with a gorgeous art style and relaxing atmosphere, then I recommend Kari. Ties is an action-adventure platformer set on a vibrant planet full of dangers. You play as a human who's merged with this octopus-looking alien guy who gives you powers. You're able to double jump and use the alien's tentacles to swing around, pull yourself to hook points, and move certain platforms. The whole adventure takes place on one planet, but has several massive locations to explore. Each one is filled with tons of collectibles if you're the completionist tourist type looking to explore everywhere, as well as a storyline objective that unlocks the next area. To get to the story objectives, you'll have to complete one of the many platforming challenges within the larger area. You'll have to put your platforming skills and abilities to the test as you chain together moves. There are conveniently placed zip lines to help you move around more efficiently, which keeps up the game's pace. Various enemy types are placed around the levels, but are mostly avoidable or super easy to kill. If you're looking for a simple, vibrant platformer, then I recommend Ties. I have not one, not two. Oh wait, it is two.
2 bonus games.
Owl Alone in the Woods is a 2D platformer where you play as an owl rescuing its baby chicks after losing them in a thunderstorm. You play across 4 levels, finding your chick at the end of each. Every time you find one of your chicks, you unlock a new movement ability, like an air dash for example. There are various hazards you have to watch out for, like foxes you have to sneak past by hiding in a bush, or red ants you can only touch for a limited time. There's a good amount of variety in the level design because of the different types of hazards and movement abilities you unlock. If you're looking for a charming 2D platformer with great pacing, then I recommend Owl Alone in the Woods. LSD, Prologue to Lasting Spiritual Derangement, is a weird first-person game set during a hallucinogen trip. You start in your house before opening a portal to another dimension. You go through some trippy abstract and space sections before settling in a medieval fantasy world. Here you find a sword and the ability to shoot fireballs, which are used in combat sections to fight dragons. It's a very odd game with no real story, but I guess that's LSD for ya. If you're looking for a weird game, then I recommend LSD, Prologue to Lasting Spiritual Derangement. Those were the top 5 free adventure games on Steam you didn't know about. Part 2. I'll have part 1 to this video as well as my playlist of free Steam games you don't know about linked in the description. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with this ongoing series.